Welcome back. Our next step is to go ahead and create the slides for each of the individual units. So we will need a slide for Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5, and Unit 6. And then just as a heads up, inside of each of those units, we will have slides for those assignments or projects that are connected to that unit. It's actually quite simple, so don't worry if you feel that it's complicated. We're going to get started with the first slide for the first Unit 1. Remember, we're going to go up to the Home tab, select New Slide, and what I'm going to ask you to do is actually to select Content with Caption. Go ahead and select that slide. Once you have done that, you will have a new slide added here. The next piece that the next step that you're going to do is you're going to actually do that 5 more times for all the other units, because we have a total of 6 units. So that's 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Wonderful. At this point, I'm going to take a second just to ask, can you think of a quicker way possibly of doing that instead of dropping and choosing content with caption each time? Here's another way. So bear with me. I'm going to undo those steps. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually right click and copy that slide, right click and paste. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both slides. And the shortcut for that is to do a multi-select. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select the second slide. Now I have 2 slides selected. You can also go ahead and hold down the Control key instead. On a Mac, that would be the Command or the Apple key. So once you have both items selected, you know they'll be selected because they will be highlighted like I have them here. You can go ahead and right click on one of them and choose copy and then paste. Now I have 4. I'm going to do that one more time, and now I have 6. So whichever way you prefer, if you prefer to drop down and select new slide, content with caption 6 times, that's fine. I just wanted to point out a different way in case you're curious and want to start practicing some shortcut keys. In this text placeholder, we will go ahead and write in the title for our Unit 1 slide. Take note that that came from here. So Unit 1 is titled Human-Computer Interaction. Let's go ahead and type that in here. Unit 1, Human-Computer Interaction. At this point, you're going to want to press pause on the video and add the other titles on the other slides for each of the units. So make sure you move on to the next slide, click here, and proceed by completing the Unit 2 title, which is Problem Solving. After that, go ahead and do the same with the remaining slides so that you have titles for all 6 units. Okay, welcome back. At this point, you should have all of your units titles in place. So Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have them all. I'm going to go back to Unit 1, and now we're going to revisit this spot right here. This is actually going to store the topics that we're going to explore and discover throughout the course. Your instructor should provide you with this information so that you know what to add here. We've probably at this point gone over a map of the portfolio so we know what kind of content goes here. So let's go ahead and add these topics under each individual unit. So I'm going to get started here with human-computer interaction. I know the first thing, or the first topic, is computers and the internet. The next thing is, actually the next topic is models of behavior. And the final piece is societal impacts of computing. Of course, as I mentioned, you will be exploring these topics and these words. So if at this point they seem a little bit obscure, confusing, scary, don't worry. They'll make sense as time progresses and as you begin exploring through different activities and projects. Okay, so go ahead and add those to your Unit 1. After you've added these topics for Unit 1, make sure you go ahead and add the other topics for Unit 4, 5, 6. For Units 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So all the other ones, you want to make sure you've added these units. Again, go ahead and press pause, and I'll meet you back here when you are done with those items. Great, welcome back. So at this point, you should have all of your slides for each unit, and each unit slide should have its title and the topics. So Unit 1, I have my title and these topics. Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5, and Unit 6. Perfect. Now, the last piece we're going to add here as far as slides is going to be a temporary one, because as you start learning and completing activities in class, you're going to begin adding more and more slides. So just to make sure you're clear as to how you're going to add them, we're going to go through and pretend to add 2 assignments and 2 slides that describe those assignments. So in Unit 1, Human-Computer Interaction, we're going to pretend that you have a project, and the teacher lets you know what the title is or the question that you're answering. So we're going to go ahead and say project number 1 example title. Okay, so go ahead and add that. And once you are done, you're going to now insert a slide for that specific project, because this will just list it. Okay, you'll see it all come together in a little bit. Just follow along. So let's say you completed your project 1 or just started it, and your teacher gave you the title. You would go ahead and fill that the correct way. This is just an example. And then what you have to do though is you have to add a slide so that you can describe that project, so that you can explain what you learned, what you still don't know, what you found interesting. So let's go ahead and go up to the Home tab again, go to the Slides group. We're going to add a new slide. For right now, we're going to say we're going to add to content. Okay, so this slide, you notice where I placed it. I placed it underneath my Unit 1. So in case yours is somewhere else, remember you can drag and drop the slide so that it's in the right order. As we mentioned back in the unit slide, the title is project number 1 example title. So here, this will be exactly that, project number 1 example title. And in these 2 boxes, you will provide information. Now, depending on the project or the assignment that this slide represents, you might end up choosing, I don't think this layout works. I don't think having 2 boxes, content boxes next to each other work. So you just simply change the layout in that case. Okay, but for example, you might tell us what you learned, what you still are unsure about, what you did. You might have pictures to add here. So keep in mind that this is a working document. It's going to develop as you change and experience the different projects and assignments throughout the year. So it's not fixed, but it is an example of how you might set it up. We're going to add one more assignment just so that you fully get the understanding. Then we'll link it up and pretty much wrap this up. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our Unit 1 slide, and we're going to add another assignment. So we'll call this, we'll just call this Project 2. Okay, and now as you can guess, we're going to go ahead and add a new slide. Let's leave the to content for now. You notice where this one went out of order, so I'm going to drag this one below the project 1, and here I'm going to add project number 2 example title. Some stuff goes here, some more stuff goes here. Alright, so these are just for right now temporary as examples. Okay, so we have our unit title and examples connected to that. Perfect. This will wrap up this construction portion. The last video piece that you will see will go ahead and lead you through hooking up everything and linking things so that you're able, actually your visitor and yourself are able to quickly navigate. Because if it's your portfolio, you want someone to look around and be able to jump from one section to another, you know, and really navigate quite easily throughout your entire presentation. So let's go ahead and wrap this piece up here, and you will come back in the last video clip and make sure that you know how to create those links.